things as well.
You absolutely can, and that's where we find ourselves in this impeachment process. There will be voters in 2020 who feel maybe slightly better off than they did 4 years ago, or largely the same, given that the economic numbers we have now are a little better than Obama's were towards the end, but they're not a lot better. And they could make the decision that, okay, this economy is pretty good, but there are lots of things about this president that I do not like, his behavior, his tweets, the fact that he will be the third president in American history to be impeached. That's not something any president wants on their record. Could be a significant negative for him going into re-election. Risks also very much on the Democratic side. Is this overreach? Are there independent voters who Steve mentioned in this survey who approve of the president's job on the economy, who will look at some of these moderate Democrats who vote yes on impeachment and say they went too far? This is a very fluid situation. We do not know exactly how it will play out in 2020, but it will have a significant impact.
Stefanie, we can look at the political impact of impeachment, and we can muse about the economic and market impact of impeachment. Do you see any right now evidence that the impeachment process...
Zero.
A big zero.
100%.
And you 100% agree.
Yeah.
No impact on the markets, it would seem. We're going to record highs. And no impact on the economy.
Yeah, I mean, I think what investors want is certainty. So they're not going to like this infighting. But I think that most people, including Wall Street, just hate Washington. And I'm in Washington. And so, you know, we like to be loved here. But for the most part, this feels so political. So if you already hated Trump, and no, he was already tweeting. He was a very extravagant personality before he got elected. So he actually, you know, if you hated him, you probably still hate him. This is what you wanted to see. If you don't hate him and you want him to be able to do things for the economy, for the market, as most on Wall Street, you know, want, it just feels like this political game that's happening in Washington that you can largely
And nobody's
ignore.
minds are being changed, particularly.
Exactly.
And Stephanie, sort of to that point, there is an argument that these impeachment proceedings are actually helping the Republicans. Can you explain why you think or disagree that that is the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be the bucket of people who hate Trump, and today is what they've long wanted to see. There's a bucket of people who love Trump, and today is an abomination. And then there's everyone in the middle who probably just hates Washington, and today feels too much like Washington spending a lot of time on itself, which most people are repelled by. So I think what Republicans have done brilliantly is, instead of talking a lot about what Trump did, they talk about what Democrats are doing to drag the whole nation through this political process. And that really makes it about Washington it really plays up how much people don't like Washington. So I think that Republicans have a lot to gain here.
So, Ben, let's presume that this impeachment process moves as we think it will. That it will move through the House with positive votes on at least one, maybe both of the articles of impeachment, goes to the Senate. There's a trial. The president is presumably acquitted there because there aren't going to be 2/3 of the Senate voting in favor. When we come to November of next year, are people going to remember this? Or will there be the next controversy and the next issue that they're focused on?
Yeah, it's a very fair point. We live in a news cycle that is 30 seconds long. We move on to the next thing very quickly. And it's sort of a split feeling for me on this. This is an historic day. It will be an historic vote. It will be the third time in history a president is impeached. There will be a Senate trial. There will be an acquittal. It will have some impact on November 2020, but so much can happen between now and then. So many crises, so many scandals, or good things could happen. I mean, we'll get USMCA, we get the China Phase 1 deal, maybe we get a stronger economy moving forward, things that are helpful to Trump. I'm not sure that impeachment is necessarily going to be the thing that swings the election one way or the other. It will be a factor. It may not be the dominating factor. Really, a lot depends on economic movement, what Trump does between being impeached and acquitted and the election.
I agree with everything you said there, and I go back to what you just said, and Stefanie, you as well. To the extent that impeachment remains an issue, I think it remains an issue because it gives the GOP and the president a big cudgel with which to beat up on his opponents.
It does do that. It also allows Democrats to say and point to the record that he was impeached for reasons. And these are the reasons that if you look at the evidence, there is plenty of evidence to suggest that he did exactly what is alleged with Ukraine, that he held up money in return for an investigation of his political opponent, that he obstructed Congress in their investigation. OK, fine. Republicans can be the cudgel that, you know, Democrats are just playing politics. But they are also making the argument, the constitutional argument, that we were elected to hold a president accountable for his actions.
And that's what we tried to do.
Exactly what we did.
That's what we did.